Good morning, everyone. It is so nice to be here with you today, and welcome to the Marne Morning Show. I'm super excited because I have Paula Collins here with me. She's a sound healer, she's a healer, spiritual coach.
I'm Paula Collins. I'm an intuitive sound healer. I'm a spirituality mentor. I believe that sound and frequency transcends everything and gets into all the areas to help us relax, but to also help us release. I also love all different sorts of energy healing as well. I'm a Reiki master. I also am an IET practitioner, which is integrative energy therapy, and works with the angelic violet ray, and it's great for like ancestral healing and past life healing. I've done this remotely. I do sound healing remotely. I read oracle cards remotely. I do Reiki remotely. I do IET remotely. So if we just ask spirit for a message, the card that flew out are the keepers of the earth. I think this is a huge reminder that we don't ground enough. We don't ground ourselves, and that's why our lives feel so chaotic. And this one is just to remind us that when we ground ourselves and we open ourselves up to divine consciousness, that it helps us stay aligned to our values, to our passions, to our purpose.
Well, I want to talk a little bit about Maiden, Mother, and Crone, this program that you have.
Okay, so a little backstory. I had an accident that squashed me, and it took me out of teaching, and it brought me to a place where I didn't know how I was going forward. And I had to rediscover me. I've always been spiritual. I had amazing people and mentors come into my life and help me to heal, show me things that I kind of knew were there, but I didn't know how to get to, and allowed me to finally speak what was in my heart and soul without fear.
How did this program come about? Is it a new program?
I would gather people in my home with yoga mats, and I would do sound healing. And I started out doing it for the full moon and for the new moon. I started doing self-love sound healing, and I've expanded that. And I found that even though other people were healing, because I was receiving the vibrations at the same time, it was healing me in ways I didn't know I needed. And I started becoming more aware of the triple goddess, the Maiden, the Mother, and the Crone, and I started researching them more. You know, chronologically, we have the Maiden, the Mother, and the Crone. But we also go through these phases at every part of our life, and that not only women go through the Maiden, Mother, and the Crone, because we all have divine feminine and divine masculine.
But men go through it too.
Yes.
I know you said you could work with men too, but is this particular program for women only?
Yes, right now it is. I refuse to have a big program. I want no more than 10, because I want to make sure that I am able to give 100% and able to hold that many people.
And shameless self-plug here, we did Paula's website. And
Yes,
her entire Kajabi platform.
She did. I was just going to say, and thanks to Marnie and her team, this looks phenomenal.
If somebody is struggling and they need support, or maybe they're not struggling, they just need a nice reminder, what do you think your one tip would be?
I think that my one tip would be, if you are feeling that inner niggle, whatever it is, whether it is the struggle or you just need a little extra something in your life, because even the healer needs a healer, that you trust it. And then you open yourself up and say, who is it that I need in my life at this precise moment? And ask for that to be opened up, and ask friends, right? Because people who have been with other healers or teachers or instructors, they know what they know, and they know the experience. And I think that the best thing that we can do for one another is share our experiences, because sharing our experiences and being brave enough to share them in spaces that are like on the internet. Like if you're on social media, share your experience. Who cares what other people say? Your message is going to go out there and it's going to hit somebody, but we have to be willing to embrace it at the deepest possible level. And if we are open, truly, truly open to all that is possible, then we can get there. Like sometimes you have to go into Instagram or TikTok and put in, spiritual healing, energy healing, and see what comes up. But don't just go on the first time you see somebody. You got to vet them out.
Right.
Before I hired Marnie, I vetted her out and I made sure I was in her space. I made sure that she was my person before I let her go into my Kajabi.
I don't often figure out the pathway of how somebody makes a decision to say yes to me, but all of the things that you've said were pre-planned marketing events to get to, because the process that we go through is, healers and coaches and experts and trying to bring people into our world is getting people to trust us.
Yes.
And so putting yourself in situations like doing lives like this or filming the VSL Masterclass, which is a part of a funnel, telling a personal story, really bringing somebody into your experience and speaking authentically, from your heart. And that's, I think, when my business really took off, is I had to pivot quite a bit until I got it right. But finally, when I just stepped into it and said, no, this is what I really truly believe is the way, I believe that this is the way to do it. And I'm just going to step into my full power and express myself fully and be confident that that is correct.
I think it's when we're able to be vulnerable and we're able to say it and know that we don't have to be perfect, because imperfectly perfect is what we are as human beings.
The reason why your website and your programs are really resonating and landing is because it is truly authentically you.
People aren't looking for a cookie cutter.
No.
They're looking
to gravitate to you because you're you.
Right. And when you wear a mask, people know that, because I wore a mask for too many years of my life trying to fit into all these other places. From all of my past wounding that told me I wasn't good enough. And when I made the decision to take the mask off and to be me, all of a sudden, the people came in, and this is just for my in-person business.
Sure. And this is what you teach, by the way, in your program. You teach people how to take off the mask.
Yes, we have to take off those masks. We have to be willing to do some be vulnerable and do some hard, deep work. Well, we get reflected back to us the things that we need to work on. And I always say, I've had a saying for years, people come into our lives for a reason, a season, or forever. And I've heard things, and I've had coaches who said things to me in the past that didn't hit. And then all of a sudden you hear it with another coach or another person, and you're like, oh, that hits.
Yes. It's
that
different
tracks. And that's the amazing thing about the journey. And in the past 7 years, Marnie, I've had 3 different spiritual awakenings in 7 years. The first one was after my accident, when I started healing. The second one is when I decided that I wanted to become a priestess.
Oh, wow.
The third one was just in January. I had been working so hard on getting everything ready to, go out there with my program, The Reclamation, and, start talking about it again. And the next thing I know, I get hit with the flu and pneumonia, and I'm down for 4 weeks. And during that time, I did some healing, and it opened me up in another way that I didn't even realize I needed to be opened up to another part of my spirituality that I didn't even know was there.
You're just such a beautiful light, Paula, and just love everything you're putting out and love the work that you do. And I know that you help a lot of people. So I just appreciate you very much. Just keep doing all the amazing work that you're doing. And so we'll say goodbye to our audience here. We're going to see you.